My name is Anthony Pansetum. I may have been classified as one who's been in the council before, so they add the right Honorable Anthony Pansetum. That's a very big one. From childhood, I, I grew up with my parents. I was actually born in Jos, Plateau State, in North. I grew up there as a child. My father was working at veterinary medicine in Jos, Bom, and so I was born there. My siblings were also born in the North. My degree and Zaria, three of us were there. We grew up, in the North before my father was transferred to Enugu. I grew up in a family that was highly, very, very disciplined, and so from primary school, we were highly disciplined. I schooled in Zion School, primary school in Oron, before going to Aruchiku to continue with my education, as my late uncle was the headmaster in that school. So the challenge I had was that I was permanently with my parents who were moving up and down after leaving the North. My father was in the North, I was in the Eastern region. I was here, Eastern region, Enugu, and I was here in Oron, having my education in the primary school, like I said, Zion Primary School, Oron. And my mother was also very mobile. She was trading, going to the North, and coming back, home to market and wares. So it was not easy, but that we were not very, very permanent at that time with our parents. It was challenging because we didn't see them often, but we were happy that we were engaged in our education at that time. I grew up with them, no doubt. They were always coming and going, and so it was not that we missed them much, but when they were with us, to inculcate their own principles of life in us, and so our grandparents were there, to take care of those areas. So we were not really actually affected by their absence, but we managed, to go on and face life, as it were. So that was it. Actually, I don't know what you mean by silver spoon, because my father was working at the time in the place and was being able to take care of us normally. If you grow up and start eating dodo and gaout instead of akara, anogi, then I don't know whether that's what it's called, silver spoon. People used to call us ajebota, like the Yorubas would do. But I think we were adequately, taken care of by our parents at that initial stage. Thank you. I actually contested the election first as a councillor when under Zero Party, and I became the vice chairman even then as a councillor, since it was parliamentary, and I was given supervisory councillor for finance and economic planning, and then other chairman of revenue committee and all of that while in the council at that initial stage. Also found out that I was really loved by my people, and that was in 1987, And before 1989, when local government councils were dissolved all over the Federation, I became the acting chairman of Oron local government. I think by then some of that local governments were created, Oron became 3 local government areas, councils, or areas rather, and I became the chairman of I became the pioneer chairman of Oron local government, while Mbo was created and Okobo as well. My chairman then, Awanaka, left for Mbo, became the chairman of Mbo. One other supervisory councillor became a chairman in Okobo local government, and I remain here as the pioneer chairman of Oron local government, the newly created local government. Yeah, I've been chairman. As a chairman then, acting chairman then, and sooner or later, found out that the council seals all over Federation were dissolved. And after a while, not long ago, I was given the mandate to sit back as the chairman of Oron local government in transition committee. And while in transition, I was able to bring about a primary school building in an area that was devoid of any state presence or federal presence, Idwa Esrede. And we managed to make sure that building was completed with 6 classroom blocks. So that was as a transition chairman. And I became the executive chairman. You know how it is, the resources we have, not much, but we also know the challenges the state is facing financially. But I managed as council chairman to ensure that few things were done. The grass cutting of the premises of the council was done regularly, as monthly. It was not what I came to see when I took over. I saw that grasses were overgrown, and the place was just not very, very convenient, So I started to make sure that every month the grasses were taken care of. Then 2, I saw that there were equipments that were not in the council, amenities to make work convenient or conducive. I had to buy computer, sets. I had to also ensure that the doors were changed that were almost dilapidated. Made sure the table, the chairman's office was also changed, new ones replaced. Bought chairs. In fact, I made sure the chairman's office was re-equipped, from the old furniture and all those things that were there. I also started to ensure that we look at the terrain generally of Oron local government. The market, there was a heap of rubbish in the market that was like a story building, which I said, no, this cannot be where people are selling and buying. We cannot allow this to stay. So we made sure that was cleared, totally cleared, And we made sure that we had a staircase at the beach where women used to sell and buy fish, or people generally. And then we put one there because before then people were slipping and falling when climbing or descending, especially during rainy season. We did that for women. And then we came to the market, the main market, where in the history of Oron there had never been a toilet there. So we put up toilets, convenience in the market to serve the sellers and buyers of goods in the market, when strangers around. So, and we went ahead to ensure that we made way for children or students in terms of giving them some funds to continue with their education. And recently, we just paid bursary to students of tertiary institutions, especially the university undergraduates. We have also made sure that we paint the council premises that for almost 12 to 14 years was not painted. So we had to paint the council to give it a facelift. We have gone ahead to ensure that some of the heaps of rubbish we found on streets like Mainland, Merihani Road, that are cleared, occasionally, and so as to, avoid any epidemic, rising from such, rubbish in the streets. More so, we have taken care of people by training them, kind of skill acquisition training. I think I paid and registered 75 of them during that exercise. I made sure with my wife that we afford computer textbooks to secondary schools and primary schools. About 350 of them, shared between students of pupils and students as well. We've tried that and empowered some people who have been looking for capital to start their business. So we did all that, and I think the information officer would have been here, but it's gone for burial. He has a copy of all the things we have done in the council. So these are just few of them that I can remember. So the other one is I spent my time, there was war between communities of Idwa and Eyobasi that I had to wade in after the elites, the elders of the land or chiefs have tried their best to bring peace, between these warring communities. But I stepped in, being a man of peace, and to make sure that there was no more problem between them, in the sense that lives were lost, and the war was somehow silent after a while, but they were still killing themselves secretly. And this was generally known. So I waded in and had 23 meetings before I could bring peace, between them. And today, the other community indigenous can walk across this area and vice versa without any problem whatsoever. So it is a great achievement that peace is instilled in that area now. So other things I cannot remember. I bought cars, for the vice chairman, the secretary, and the leader of the council, legislative council. Those are things. I think this protest has been going on not just this year, not last year. It's been going on for a very long time. Actually, it is known, or it is a known fact, that the oil wells that Mobile is producing oil from, as most of them are centered in Orange Shores, and we are not quite well recognized in that we are supposed to be amongst those classified as oil producing, areas. And this has been very painful to the Oron people, and they are not happy. So the protest for recognition has been on for a very long time, that we should be included amongst those, that are producing oil for the states. And it's clearly known. If there are many information we gather from, not just from Nigeria, from abroad, that attest to this fact that Oron is an Oron nation generally. It's an oil-producing area. If there is, what do they call it, oil spill now, we are greatly affected. You can see it from the water. You can see it from the diminishing presence of fishes we used to have, that there are no more there, because of this fact. So it demands for protest not just to cause problem, but to make Oron people also enjoy their rights in the oil derivation process, oil money derivation process. It's basically the challenge we have generally, it's that of funds. If we were given autonomy, financial autonomy, I think there are many things we would have done, and this would have gone a long way to improve the standard of people in the area, and also the community, the face of the community generally. You find out that in Europe, the mayor is given a good money such that he can manage his environment very well, build things, library, workshop, carry on workshop for the people of different, categories, and also erect edifices that are quite demanding in the area, But, because of lack of funds, improve education of the local people, because right now the local people are suffering. We need to ensure that as government that we take a look at this area, the plight of the local people, which is very, very important, So the child does not need to travel afar, for education, does not need to travel afar for, common things like farm, produce, to trade with. Those things would have been planted around, there are no land in Akwa Ibom State where we can plant different crops to help ourselves, even here, though we are fishermen. Yes, I was thinking of what you've said, that I can go ahead in politics and make sure I'm what I want and do what I think we should do. Secondly, that there are so many challenging things to do that I cannot do now. But that if I stay a little bit in politics, these are the things I'm going to do. I'm going to lead the people around me, the people given position, and also contribute my quota to what is to be in our own local government, how it's going to be, But that would demand time, and so we need to be, quite close to the government to see that we have a place in the government to continue to help our people. It is service to the people, and it's not all about, personal achievement, but it is service to the people. It's not been easy, but this is my home. Though I was not born here, I came but this is my my place of birth, so I cannot, go and live outside to govern my people. This is my area of jurisdiction, so I stick here and make sure that I take care of the people. People come here in numbers, and the pleasing thing to them is that even when I don't have, and I tell them, look, come back this time, it's not there. They comply, they don't get angry, because always I'm here at home to see them. And I think they're quite delighted about that. Or even when I say, don't worry, I don't have money now. Some of them may think it is a lie, but I'm not in the business of lying to the people that I govern, people that are under my area of jurisdiction. I make sure that I tell them the truth. When it's there, when they are going, I offer drinks. As they go, I go in. take this. It's not, I'm not adequate yet. Come back to time. And believe you me, I've tried to make sure I please them. So since we cannot please everybody in the local government, but I try to make sure some of them, their children's school fees are paid, some of them hospital bills when their wards are sick, some of them business, they need anything for business, and I've been trying to assist as much as I can, and other areas of assistance. The youths, well, like I said, the youths we are quite in cordial relationship. You know, very, very cordial indeed. I've tried to reach out to the youths to make sure that we stay in peace. We live in peace in the area. Like I've told you, I've been trying to make peace everywhere. I've made peace in the Yetong, I've made peace in the Yobasi, and I've made peace even in my immediate area. But one thing I see that not everybody is satisfied with what you do. Until they are here on this seat, they cannot understand the challenges. But I try to tell them, look, it's not that easy. What you think is there may not be there. But when I tell you, you think because I'm a chairman, money is dropping from north and south. It's not so. I just manage to squeeze out the little I can. When you come for meeting, I find money to make sure they go home happily, But sometimes I just look, man, there's nothing for now. Just bear with me. I'll send this transport to you and all of that. So we've been trying our best to make sure we live peacefully together. Actually, it's not that. See, there are so many projects I would have embarked upon. But, because of paucity of funds, council, I've endeavored to ensure that I manage with the little funds on few projects that I can lay my hands on. It's not that easy, even then. Like I wanted to do a gate for the council, which has never been there. We constructed the gate, and there was a problem of standard. The gate was said not to be of standard quality. I said to myself, instead of leaving, since people are aggrieved about the standard of the gate. Now, I'm not the supervisor for works or director of works, that I left the construction of the gate in their hands. So that when I went and took a look at the standard of that gate, I saw to it that the general opinion of the people was right. So if you go there now, I've taken off the gate with the intention of giving a standard gate, there, So those are the areas of things or challenges that I'm faced with, try to see that things are done, not to my satisfaction, but to the satisfaction of the masses. Yes, I think so. It's not been easy, or when a man is conscientious, and conscious about the things that the states, should have, and tries his best to meet up, definitely we know that it is not, governance is not an easy, area of administering, It is an area where you have to do what you have to do with all amount of sincerity. So I see him, he has done well in the area of road construction here and there, and he has touched almost all the local government areas. Like Oron, for instance, we had no link roads that were adequate, adequately tarred and made passable, by vehicles and all of that. But recently I found out that those roads that were very bad, were constructed and well tarred for us to pass through, vehicles to pass through. There were some that you couldn't pass through by foot. But these days you can walk, you are across them. link them up with others. And I can drive through those areas. It is only that we don't have maintenance culture, which is something very necessary for a government, to instill in the system. That when this road is going bad, you make sure that it is remedied quickly, from damages. That is what Nigeria as a whole doesn't have, maintenance culture. And so you allow that road to go dilapidated so that during the process of revisiting it again, you have to start from the scratch. Money you would have saved in doing, some patches here, so many roads, you use again to reconstruct an already constructed road. So this has been a problem. But generally, in the area of agriculture, which he is really, really interested in, I think it's done well. I see some tomatoes being reduced in Akwa Ibom and other crops like that, which is pleasing to us. And it's done well in the area of manpower, of creating awareness to the people of Akwa Ibom, in enlightening the people, giving the people food for thought, to know that you have to fight and fend for yourself, And educationally, he's also given the pep, to the educational sector. In fact, if you look at the trend of events generally, the governor, Emmanuel, has done tremendously well. If I was to score him, he's not perfect. I would have scored him 75%. I don't know, because I understand that some organizations, some nations have offered funds to cushion the effects of the pandemic in the states. But I think if it's done across the entire state, he has done well, because recently we've just received palliatives, for citizens of Nigeria in this place. And so this cuts across the entire state, quite a large sum, a large quantity of items like rice, beans, and other tomatoes, nut oil, palm oil, many other items were offered recently. And before now, we had also made sure that the border towns were seriously, provided with protection against people, coming from other, especially like my area, from Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, Gabon, infiltrating into this area, because you can never say who they are. They may come with the coronavirus disease and infect our people. So he's given serious thought to this, giving money for boats to be in the river to check the excesses of travelers who come in and go out. So he's done well. The governor's challenges, well, I don't know how much funds the federal government is offering, but I do know that funds also may be challenges to every governor, everyone at the head of the government. My wish is that everyone, citizens of Akwa Ibom, should endeavor to ensure that he pays his loyalty to the government of the day and not continue to offer wrong criticisms. People criticize without knowing the truth. Like I've been here, people criticize sometimes a lot because they don't know what you're going through. Only you know what you're going through. So the criticisms may be born out of hatred, jealousy, and the likes, But, a man who knows, who has been in government, will know that all those criticisms are not true. It's like you must give constructive criticism if you have to criticize, which will help in the running of the government. Somebody will say, what this man is saying the truth. Let me visit this area. Let me go do this. And also the other area is that we have to take cognizance of the fact that it is not all well everywhere in government. The people think since you're in government, the government has this, government has that. Government is not God. It's only God that has everything. It's only God that can do everything. Man is normally very handicapped in some ways. So then people just think that it is very, very necessary that this should have been done, that should have been done in government. I think those challenges are there for all of us in government, the governor, the president, the chairman, even in the council of chiefs, where they are governing or leading their people. You have those challenges. So I think it's necessary for the citizens, youths, women and men to recognize this fact and help in ensuring that the government moves ahead, because government is always continuous, One person will stay and leave, others will take over. So that is my opinion.